Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Leading the news, one man is dead and another man is in police custody tonight after a violent altercation on the streets of St Mary's. Police are continuing to investigate the circumstances as the tight-knit community comes to terms with the shocking incident.
Small town peace and quiet shattered. A violent brawl spilling out into the middle of St Mary's Main Street.
You wouldn't think something like that would happen here, because you think obviously the crime rate is quite low here.
Very surprising out here in the middle of nowhere, eh?
People were a bit heartbroken about the whole thing, honestly.
The fatal fight breaking out between two men at 6:30 last night. A 65-year-old Fingal Valley man was knocked unconscious, several Good Samaritans rushing to his aid.
Unfortunately, the unconscious male later died as a result of injuries believed to be sustained through that incident.
We saw the bloke laying down on the side of the road with people all surrounding him and them waving off traffic. Turned my head and I did see blood coming out of his mouth, and yeah, it was very, very full on.
A man in his 50s, also from the Fingal Valley, was taken into custody a short time later. He's assisting police with their inquiries. It's believed the pair were known to each other.
The nature of their relationship is not firmly known to police.
Detectives returned to the scene today to try and piece together the events leading up to the violent altercation, which played out here in front of horrified onlookers.
Confronting. Never seen anything like that before in my life.
This is obviously a very sad situation and has a severe impact on such a small community.
Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
Unions, industries and peak bodies don't want our new government to waste any time getting back to business. While the state election results are yet to be finalised, the likely Liberal government is urged to start work quickly on implementing campaign promises.
Voters have delivered a hung parliament, something that's previously spelt doom for business confidence.
The minor parties are all talking about the need for a stable parliament, so look, we'll hold them to that.
Tasmania's Peak Business Council says the focus for the likely Liberal government needs to be in implementing their campaign promises, namely addressing energy challenges.
The onus is on to government to sort out the $20 billion worth of wind developments and hydrogen developments that are just waiting to get through ours and the federal planning processes.
On Saturday night we saw a shift away from the major parties, and I think that sends a pretty clear message that they haven't been able to listen to the issues that matter most to Tasmanians.
The community services sector asked for a funding model linked to inflation and wages. Neither major party delivered that.
And I don't think we've seen enough to address the immediate and long-term needs of Tasmanians, particularly those who are doing it tough.
The Liberals made big health promises, campaigning on infrastructure, more staff and recruitment bonuses to help fill positions. There's also the controversial ban on ambulance ramping.
It's the department and the government that need to deliver the resources that are needed for ambulances to offload their patients in a timely fashion and respond to the calls for assistance in the community.
After 2 years of health ministers who held other major roles, also on their wish list is a full-time health minister.
I think that some of the ongoing issues probably would have been addressed in a more timely fashion.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians can expect a visit from more than just the Easter Bunny this long weekend. Police are warning they'll have a heavy road presence and are urging motorists to take extra caution.
Taking no chances when it comes to driver behaviour. Tasmania Police putting Operation Safe Arrival back on the road in time for Easter.
We want to see people are driving as though there's a police car following them. So that means people are very conscious of their speed and they're conscious that they're doing the right thing.
The fatal 5 are on the force's radar: speed, inattention, fatigue, drink and drug driving and seatbelt use. Officers will be accompanied by heavy vehicle regulators with more residents on the road.
We'll be on the urban roads and we'll be on the rural roads. We'll conduct a number of different operations throughout the day and night.
5 Tasmanians have died this year on our roads, with police looking to halt that climbing any higher. Last Easter alone, 4 people died. The state's emergency service rolling out national program Driver Reviver in Campbelltown this year to target fatigue and prevent further heartache.
To interact with the public, encourage the public to stop, have a rest, engage with us, and then stretch their legs and then get on their way.
Operation Safe Arrival starts tomorrow and will run through to Tuesday. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Protesters have taken their fight for industrial manslaughter laws similar to those in other states to Parliament lawns. Unions say it would encourage safer workplace practices and bring justice for families.
The election might be over, but passion for this issue is ramping up. Dozens protesting today outside Parliament House.
Serious time! Serious crime!
The Hudson family lost son Matthew in an industrial tragedy 20 years ago in Launceston. His father says it's something they're forced to deal with every day.
So it has a huge effect right through the family. It's something that stays with you till I'm in my box.
Joining calls for industrial manslaughter laws to be introduced, meaning those in charge would face tougher outcomes when fatalities occur.
Those who have significant responsibility for the conduct of their business actually get the consequences traced up to them and the penalties.
Currently, Tasmania lags behind the rest of the country.
7,500 people every year put in workers' compensation claims. 85 work-related fatalities have occurred over the last decade.
If we can get these laws changed and strengthened, then it might help us at the other end.
Unions Tasmania is now calling for the newly formed government to commit to the law. Previously, the Greens and Labor had signalled their support. The Liberals and the Jackie Lambie network didn't respond to a request for comment. In the meantime, treating the victims left behind with respect, a step in the right direction.
I make many phone calls that I know I'll get nothing out of, but I still keep making them. And it's not about money, it's not about slaps on the back or anything like that. It's about doing the right thing.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A warning tonight, Tasmanians are being targeted by identity thieves masquerading behind a fake Department of State Growth Facebook page. The scam page is still online, offering driver's licence applications and asking people to send in personal details. The real department says it does not offer driver's licences online and will never ask for personal information or payments through social media. A new app to make it easier to manage your wishes when you die has been launched, designed to ease the burden on those left behind. The app helps family members plan your funeral.
With 60% of Australians not having plans in place for when they die, a couple of Launceston creatives have come up with a solution, developing an Afterlife app on which you can store details about how you would like your life remembered, making it easier for loved ones.
After my husband was killed in 2019 in a car accident, I didn't know where to start or how to plan a funeral, I guess.
For Heather, losing her husband unexpectedly gave her the brainwave for the app. Afterlife co-owner Rick Martin was quickly on board with the idea.
I think one of the things we're seeing is that people don't just want to be mourned when they pass, but they want to celebrate the life that they've had.
Mark Graham says it's not uncommon for people who pass away not to have put a plan in place for their final wishes.
Often when people die and they don't have a will, that can be the start of a number of other issues that are brought to bear.
In recent years, there's been a move away from more traditional burials, with cremation spiking in popularity.
Certainly, burial costs are higher than cremation costs by some margin.
End-of-life options are evolving constantly, with natural burials now being considered.
So it's making sure that there is no chemicals or embalming fluids that are used in relation to preparation of the body.
Thinking about the environment, even in death. Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians are being asked to become tourism ambassadors through a program being trialled across the state. The Tourism Industry Council hoping to attract more people with a passion for showing the Apple Isle off to visitors.
What we're trying to do as a visitor economy is get people out into our regions and out around the surrounds of our cities. So this helps do that.
1,000 people have already joined with a badge gifted to each member. We are being encouraged to connect with our communities and participate in National Neighbours Day this Sunday. The City of Hobart says it's a chance to promote belonging and inclusion. North Hobart resident Robin Saunders leading by example.
We just sort of look out for each other, you know, if the bins are out we stick them behind the fence and yeah, a bit of a chat, and it's just nice to know that there are people, you know, close by that you can call on.
That can make such a huge difference in your quality of life and even your health outcomes because loneliness is such a big issue in modern society.
The RACT is also on board, urging people to keep an eye on their properties of their neighbours who might be heading away this long weekend.
Jack jumper Marcus Lee's season is over as scans confirm an MCL tear after going down during Game 3 in Melbourne. The rest of the team is ready for tomorrow's home court clash, which could end up deciding the championship. With a maiden NBL championship up for grabs tomorrow night, the Jackies' eyes are firmly on the prize. Business as usual for Jack McVeigh, despite the basketball world being ablaze with talk of his half-court buzzer beater.
It's definitely been a weird sensation. I mean, I've received messages from people that I haven't talked to in 10, 15 years, and it's been an awesome I'm very grateful for it, but it's also been weird because the shots are relevant if we don't get the job done.
A win won't come easy, even in a jam-packed MyState Bank Arena. The Jackies hunting for the smallest advantage against the league's in-form club.
Trying to find these little areas where you can eliminate a possession for them or gain one for yourself.
Marcus Lee watching today's session from the stands. Scans confirming he's torn an MCL after falling in a scramble midway through Game 3. Lockie Barker will take his place in the squad.
Obviously, bad news for Marcus. I feel for him. You don't get a lot of opportunities to play in these type of games, and I have no fear of playing Lucky Barker tomorrow. So our guys do the work during the course of the season. Everyone has confidence within.
The Jackies are in the enviable position of having 2 chances to lift the NBL trophy, but either way they can rest easy knowing they've done the state proud.
Win or lose and walk out of there when the series is over with. The critics will be the critics, but ultimately you're not going to take away the 3 years of work that's been done here, the passion that the fans have been created here.
The end of cycling's troubled National Road Series means a reshuffle of events which will affect the Tassie leg. Starting next year, the new Pro Velo Super League will compact all events into a 12-week block, still featuring the Tour of Tasmania just 10 months earlier than usual in February. This year's tour will still go ahead in November.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport 20 degrees today. Launceston on top with 23 and Burnie recorded 21. Generally temperatures sat just below average. Friendly Beaches 21, Low Head and Bushy Park 20, St Helens Grove and the Islands all 19, Strawn 17 and Lyawini are overnight low with 1. Low level cloud today over the west but barely a drop of rain, scattered and patchy cloud elsewhere across the state. A large mid-level cloud band is over southern Queensland. More cloud brought thunderstorms over the tropics, but most of the country, however, was clear today. Tomorrow, a high over the Bight has a ridge over Tasmania and the south of the mainland. Those troughs still dot, or may I say dash, around the coastline to the north and east. Winds over our region, southwest to southerly tomorrow at 15 to 25 knots, lighter over the central west, north and northeast. Hobart 21 and partly cloudy tomorrow. Cygnet 20 degrees and 22 the top for New Norfolk. Launceston dry, partly cloudy, 24, 21 for Devonport, sunny for Campbelltown and 23 degrees. Burnie 20 and mostly sunny. Strawn a cloudy day, 18 the maximum, 22 the high for Smithton. And down the east coast, fine, partly cloudy. St Helens 19, 20 for Swansea, Fingal a high of 22. On Friday, fine and partly cloudy as the high positions directly over Tasmania, so we should expect some light winds as well. Fine to kick off the weekend as well. Saturday, partly cloudy but still pleasant. And on Sunday, a light shower contracting to the east, but fine and partly cloudy again for most of us. High 20s and sunny weather for Perth and Adelaide. A cloudy 20 in Melbourne, a shower and 25 degrees in Sydney. Partly cloudy in Brisbane with 28. Dropping down to 14 in Hobart right now. Still warm in Launceston, 21 currently and 22 in Devonport, and still very dry, Kim, which is interesting considering on this day, Singing in the Rain was released in New York for the first time with Gene Kelly in 1952. We both remember that day, don't we?
Well, some of us do. Perhaps you burst into song for us. The information you share to our audience. Thank you, Murph. And that is all your news for now. We will be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night.